I was thinking, like, look at us wearing fall colors, but I almost said, look at us in our fall flavors.
Our problem. Yeah. We didn't plan this or anything, but my shirt says current mood on it.
These are currently the only shirts I fit in, so.
You might be like, is that merch? It should be, but it's not.
It's
I
not.
think it's I got it at Goodwill. I watched a TikTok the other day.
Yeah.
Where this woman was talking about, she was like, all the ways my middle school students have hurt my feelings.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And one of the ways was they were supposed to, it was like she's a science teacher.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to look at her and make inferences. It was the first day. It was like a get to know you thing, right? First day of school.
Oh no.
And they were like, she looks like she shops at Goodwill, which the woman was like,
I do.
Offended by it. And I'm all like, listen, I love Goodwill.
They
like,
got good stuff.
I get why people are weird about it. Like, I totally get why people
because somebody else wore it, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm like, I mean, I like it because you never know what you're going to find. It's the whole like,
yeah.
And also, what you're going to find at Goodwill is not like everybody else in Lexington is buying the same thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Not to say that I don't go to the mall or Target. Not all of my clothes come from Goodwill, but I just like, I don't know, when I'm bored.
We love a good Anthropologie outfit. But
also when you find Anthropologie at Goodwill, it's the most amazing
experience ever.
Or Lululemon or J. Crew. Like, sometimes if I find a good brand, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Like, even if I don't really like it very much, I'm like, this shirt is $3 and it would be $85 at the store.
Yeah.
So
I have to. Sophie's really big into sweatshirts right now. So she wants to go to Goodwill and find all the old like sweatshirts because nobody has that kind. So she thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Which I'm grateful for because I'm like, yeah, I'll spend.
The girls like to find
sweatshirts.
Like Kentucky, like UK shirts and UK sweatshirts there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But I was like, I don't know.
Your kids find like great tennis shoes there one time?
Yeah, Lauren did. And I think that people, I just forget, I guess, because I don't think anything of it. I forget that there are people who think it's really like cringy. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's not like I don't wash it.
Right. Right.
Whatever. I love clothes. That's the other thing. I love clothes.
Yeah.
I have a ridiculous amount of them. And so in order to make myself feel better about how many clothes I have, if I get a lot of them at Goodwill, then it's not like hard on the budget.
Right. Exactly.
This is all about being a responsible adult. And if I am anything, Kara,
that you are.
It's a responsible adult.
That you are.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Kara.
This is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery podcast. I don't know how much of that whole tangent's going to make it into
it's fine.
Final product.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
As always, there's a disclaimer for the dogs that are downstairs, and
they're beagles. They like to howl, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, Millie, she's tiny, but
as I choke on my own spit,
listen to her howl. Millie is tiny and fierce and terrified. She has a really somebody walks by the house and she goes nuts.
Yeah, but
they were to actually
you approach her, don't talk about it.
She just takes off running.
Yeah, I said, do you want to come in here with us? And she said, nope, and darted down the stairs.
Well, she was creeping up the stairs like she was going to.
She's making moves.
But then you looked at her.
And don't do that.
It's like those ghosts on that Super Mario Brothers game. Yes. Where they'll follow you as long as you're not looking. And then you turn around, they're like, that's Millie.
It is Millie.
Okay.
God, N64 Super Mario.
God. Where was I? There was a really great arcade bar down in St. Pete.
Oh.
It was an arcade brewery. Dang it.
How fun.
It'd be really great if I could remember. But if you Google arcade brewery downtown St. Pete, it was something like the bar around the corner or just around the corner or something like that. Anyway, they had old classic stuff like that. They had Duck Hunt. They had, it was great. It was great. I loved it.
That's so
one of the rainier days when we were on vacation.
Yes.
Okay. It is Friday.
Yes.
Last time I did my episode, we voted, right?
Hey, do we need 10 seconds of silence?
Probably. Oh, okay. The point being, I'm stalling because I don't exactly know which episode I'm doing today. I have several ready. Yeah, I don't think I want to do. I know I had y'all choose in the Facebook group between a couple. And I am eventually going to do that other one, but it's another one that's like the serial killer one in that it's like a lot of research and it's long. Right. And I just felt like it was interesting. Obviously.
Always.
So entertaining. But I just want to do something a little bit different today. So
that's what I did with my side piece.
Okay. Anything else? What's that noise?
A train.
Do you think a helicopter is like literally landing on my house right now?
It's going to land on my car and take my car away. How would you look?
Aliens. I think they're mowing their yard.
Oh, this happened a couple weeks ago.
That's fine. Okay, we'll give it a few. Let's give it a few seconds of silence here.
Yeah.
He mows his yard. And now an airplane.
He mows his yard with a hovercraft.
Soon, like a frog is gonna like ribbit, and then there'll be a cricket somewhere.
Jiminy Cricket.
And now a tornado. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's actually an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are we
headed? We're just gonna pause for a second. Okay, that's gone by. Okay.
We both just clasped our hands.
Alrighty, so this story was emailed to us by Rebecca, who is also the one who sent us the Puerto Rican legends. So she basically threw this one at the end and was like, here's just another case that I think is interesting. Not that it has any ties to her or anything, but I didn't even recognize the name when she sent it to me. And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, I have heard of this, but it's been a long time ago.
Okay.
So not that it happened very long ago, but I just hadn't thought about it in a long time.
Right.
Okay. So Lars Mittank was...
What is that?
Stomach just growled again. That's fine. It's cute. Lars Mittank was a... Why is this happening?
Every time you say the name.
Lars Mittank was a 28-year-old guy with a long-term girlfriend, lots of friends, and a good job.
Okay.
He worked for Wilhelmshaven, Germany's only deep water port and its largest naval base. So that's one thing I
knew all about.
I didn't even have to read any more about it. I was like, oh yeah, that place in Germany, right?
I knew this.
So he had a good relationship with his family. Like his dad had a stroke actually, but Lars would regularly go by his parents' house to like work like with them and help out with things like help his mom and do the things since his dad wasn't able to. So Lars was German, born in Berlin, but lived his entire life in a smaller city, population 32,000-ish. 32,000
German now.
Ish. And with a name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because every time I try it, it sounds offensive. So I'm just
amazing.
I'm just not going to do that.
Love it.
On June 30th, 2014.
Oh, so not long ago.
Not very long ago.
No.
Lars left Germany for the very first time. I know. He
ventured out.
28. Wow. The first time he left Germany.
Wow.
He traveled to Varna, Bulgaria with 5 of his friends, and they stayed at this seaside resort called the Golden Sands, located on the Black Sea coast. Golden Sands is basically the Bulgarian equivalent of Ibiza. Lots of sun, sand, cheap alcohol.
Right.
You know. Lars and his buddies spent the week relaxing, enjoying the beach, the pool, playing football, going to clubs, just like a guy's trip, having a good time. One of the guys on the trip said Lars was in a good mood and he seemed completely fine, except for the fact that he wasn't eating a whole lot.
Oh.
But when I read that, it almost felt like, wow, they're really digging to find something.
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes when we travel, our stomachs are like, funny.
I mean, I don't know. Like, well, if I have to find something strange about his behavior,
he didn't eat much.
I guess it would be that he didn't eat a whole lot. Like he would have a soup or a salad at mealtime, and that could be any number of things. So who knows? Maybe it's a health thing. Maybe it's a financial
thing.
Yeah. Maybe he just had some weird stomach stuff going on. Maybe he has a gluten problem.
Maybe.
There could be lots of reasons, but
maybe he read in a thing that you shouldn't eat certain stuff there.
Maybe
you don't know.
Nobody
knows.
On their last night in town, Lars and his friends went to a bar where they ran into some other German folks and they got into a disagreement over football,
German folks,
which we're taught there, soccer.
Yeah. The actual football.
Yes.
Use your feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
They argued about like which team was better.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, apparently it got pretty heated, but it's also like, how people get about their sports teams and then there's alcohol and who knows.
Right.
Testosterone and all that.
Like going to an Orange Bowl.
Right. So Lars and his friends left the bar. And then apparently Lars separated from his friends. They were all like, we're going to go eat. And Lars was like, I'm just going to go back to the hotel. Which kind of...
I can't eat. So.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of lines up with the whole thing of like he's not eating a whole lot.
Yeah.
But when his friends got back to the hotel, he wasn't there.
Oh.
They didn't see him again until the next morning. So he did come back. But when he showed back up, he told his friends he had been beaten up the night before by 4 guys hired by the group in the bar that they'd had the disagreement with. It's a very complicated story.
Yeah.
So he looked pretty rough, and they were like, you need to go to the doctor. So he goes to the doctor, and he's diagnosed with an injured jaw, possible concussion, and a ruptured eardrum. And the doctor's like, you can't fly with a ruptured eardrum.
Oh, yeah.
It'll cause you intense pain.
Yeah.
The doctor also prescribed. He described it, and then he prescribed.
He described and prescribed.
Right. An antibiotic.
When they do that.
It's very good.
Yeah.
500 milligrams of ceftriaxone to keep his wounds from becoming infected.
Wounded.
Why is that so funny? But even when I read wounds, I was like, wounds. I can't say it any other way. So this is the day they're supposed to go home. And Lars, now he can't fly. The doctor's like, he can't fly. Yeah. His friends are like, look, we'll just stay. We don't want to
fly without you.
Yeah. We'll stay here with you. And Lars is like, no, I'm totally fine.
Oh, okay.
Like, go ahead. Just go on and fly home.
I did just get beat up by 4 unknown
but leave. Go. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it.
Y'all leaving me.
That they hired, apparently.
Yeah.
So they all check out of the resort, Lars included. They all check out, and then he checks in to a different hotel, the Hotel Color Varna. It's probably not how you say it. It's probably Color or something, for one night. It was cheaper. It was closer to the airport. And apparently, he only had to delay the trip for 1 day.
Oh. I would have flown anyways.
I don't know.
I'd have been like, give me Tylenol.
So all of this seems fairly normal, right? Like, I mean, the fight thing is weird, but whatever. Right. Some people get really freaked out about their sports teams.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that he's like, those people that I had that argument with hired 4 guys to attack me.
Right.
Like, how did he know?
How do you know that? Did they like sit there and say,
hello, we would like to introduce ourselves.
We are here. We were hired by a couple gentlemen who you disagree with. Go Cards. You, sir.
Yes. Let's have a fight. Like, I don't understand that whole thing.
Yeah.
So Lars checks into his new hotel. His friends go home.
Yeah.
And this is where the weird stuff starts.
Oh, wait. Just now gets weird. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like before it was kind of strange.
Yeah.
But maybe not. And now we're like, okay, this is objectively bizarre.
Okay. Another helicopter lawnmower.
I don't know what's happening out there.
It's like he's mowing his lawn with like a loud drone.
It is strange. Like I have these few neighbors who are very obsessive. I mean, their lawns always look great.
So once one of them gets a lawnmower out, the other one has to.
And it pressures even the ones who aren't as weird about it. Not weird. Who aren't as concerned.
Meticulous.
Some people, we all have different priorities in life. All of a sudden they become yard people because they're like, well, now mine looks bad. It looked fine before.
Right. And now we look like crap.
Lars is at the hotel and he calls his mother, Sandra.
Right.
And he tells her, cancel my credit cards because people are trying to rob me or kill me.
Okay.
He specifically said 4 men had threatened to kill him.
Fun. We're getting closer.
It is. Like, why?
Is he in the middle thing?
This YouTube video is going to be like...
It's nonsense. Let me just...
She's making a little noise. So what I usually do in the YouTube video, I don't know if you ever watch them, but when stuff like this happens, I try not to cut it anymore, but I'll just like
speed the sound up. Yes.
And we're all like, like our little laughs.
Yes.
All right. So Lars calls his mother, Sandra, and tells her, cancel my credit cards because there are people after me. They want to rob me. They want to kill me.
Man.
And he specifically said 4 men had threatened to kill him, which makes you think he must be referring to the same 4 men who had beaten him up.
Right.
And then so Sandra said she thought her son was in danger and that she could hear his heart pounding over the phone. Which, you know, when you're like really freaked out, like just in the way you're breathing.
Right.
So he paced up and down the halls of the hotel. This is all in the hotel security footage. And he looked out the windows. It's like he's kind of pacing and looking.
Yeah.
He hides in the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Like it reminds me of, the girl in LA.
Oh, yeah.
His name I can't remember, and all of you are yelling it at me right now.
Yes.
But he seemed very obviously afraid. Yeah, afraid of something. So he ends up leaving the hotel at 1:00 in the morning, but he shows back up at 2:00 in the morning, and we don't know what he did or where he went for that hour. It's like a SWAT team's coming in. They're all just surrounding and just like, how can we make as much? Actually, a SWAT team wouldn't make any noise, but
no.
One
SWAT team with lawnmowers.
Let's just start there again.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay,
Lars has a
Her name is. All right. So Lars calls his mother Sandra, and he tells her, "Cancel my credit cards because there are people after me."
So even though I'm getting ready to fly, cancel everything.
Cancel the cards. They want to rob me. They want to kill me. He specifically mentions 4 men, which makes you think it must be those 4 men who beat him up.
Yeah.
And Sandra is like, I thought he was in danger.
Yeah,
I could hear his heart pounding over the phone.
Ooh.
So he paced up and down the halls of the hotel, and it's all caught on the hotel security footage. And they could see him. He's like pacing, and he'll like look out the windows and he'll like hide in the elevator. And he was very obviously scared.
Yeah.
And paranoid. Like he was looking, like making sure no one was out there.
Yeah.
He ends up leaving the hotel at 1:00 in the morning, but he comes back an hour later at 2 a.m.
Why would you just go stay at the airport if you're going to fly and
I don't know.
Scared?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't know where he'd be safe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But we don't know. So he's gone for that hour from the hotel, and we don't know what he did or where he went.
Huh.
Listen, we're not going to be able to stop recording every time this lawnmower goes by.
Gets closer.
Sorry. So he stayed in touch with his mom through the phone calls and through texts throughout the whole night.
Okay.
In one of his texts to her, he asked questions about the antibiotic that he'd been prescribed.
He had to describe
the doctor didn't describe it enough, and he had more questions.
Yeah.
So he was so worked up by the next morning that he had decided he was going to just, go on home.
Right.
And Sandra booked him a flight for that afternoon.
Okay.
And also bought him a bus ticket just in case the doctor said it wasn't safe to fly, because he had to go just make sure before he actually flew out. And in addition to that, she sent him 500 euros. So, like, he didn't have to fly.
Yeah.
He could have just taken the bus.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's July 8th, 2014, the day after his friends left. Lars takes a taxi to the airport, hoping to head home.
Right.
He texts his mom, says, "Hey, I'm at the airport."
Right.
And he goes to see the airport doctor just to be checked out one more time to make sure it's okay for him to fly.
Right.
And the doctor cleared Lars to head home.
Okay, good.
Later on, the doctor said that Lars was nervous and his behavior was really erratic. And it's kind of the same stuff that we see on the security footage.
Right.
When the doctor said it was fine for Lars to go home, Lars didn't leave. He stayed there in the office for a minute. And instead of being cool, thanks, doc, and out the door, he starts asking questions again about the medication that he had been prescribed.
Oh, okay.
Prescribed.
Great. Wow.
Similar to the same kind of things that he'd been asking his mom.
Right.
So while they're still in there, a construction worker comes in. There'd been construction work going on in the airport.
Yeah.
And so that construction worker comes in who just needed to see the doctor for one reason or another.
Right.
And when he comes in, Lars kind of freaks out. He starts shaking and he shouts, "I don't want to die here. I have to get out of here." And he runs out of the office. Now,
what?
You can see this footage on YouTube.
Oh.
It's the airport security footage.
Right.
He just ran out immediately. He didn't grab any of his things. So he took all his
baggage
and all that. Yeah. So he left his backpack, his travel bag, cell phone, wallet, passport. He left it all there in the doctor's office because this construction worker comes in, he panics, and he darts out.
Oh my gosh.
He heads out of the doctor's office and out of the airport completely.
No.
So on the airport security footage, you can see him in a yellow t-shirt running away from the airport. It's upsetting to me to see it. He's just clearly terrified. He is so scared. And so he climbs a fence, runs into a meadow, and takes off sprinting towards a nearby forest, woods.
No.
To this day, no one knows what happened to him after that. He's heading towards the forest, and he disappears from the camera's view, and that is it.
No sightings afterwards.
There has not been a single confirmed. There hasn't been a single confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank since he ran out of the airport.
Are you serious?
And that 500 euros that his mom sent him has never been withdrawn. Gosh. So Sandra hired a private investigator,
right,
to search for her son. Mm-hmm. And the PI checked hospital records for patients without ID, but that didn't turn up anything.
Okay.
Lars knew how to hunt, fish, and trap. So, like, he ran into the woods. It's possible that he could have survived there for a little bit. But it was also incredibly hot. And even with his skills, there just wouldn't be enough food to stay there very long. Right. I don't think it was that kind of woods. In 2015, so the following year, a truck driver thought he saw Lars hitchhiking in Varna, but this was never confirmed.
Okay.
In 2016, police in Brazil picked up a man with no ID. Now, this man had amnesia and didn't know his own identity.
Oh.
They took him to the hospital and circulated his picture on social media, and some people thought that kind of looks like Lars. Wasn't him. He turned out to be Anton Palipa, a Toronto man who had been missing for 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
That's a whole other thing. I'm like, did he have amnesia for 5 years?
Yeah. Whoa.
Because remember how we've learned that
it's a thing.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
But he was missing for 5 years. Can you imagine? And then he shows up. In 2019, a German truck driver gave a hitchhiker a ride from Dresden to Schildau, which I'm 100% sure of. And at that time, the truck driver didn't know about the Lars Mittank case.
Right.
Later, when he found out about Lars, he said that hitchhiker had resembled Lars and had a long hair and a beard. If you look up Lars, he does not have, like, at the time that he disappeared, he did not have a long hair and a beard. So it seems like.
But I mean, 2014 to 2019,
he would look different
pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to be able to recognize him would seem strange.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it's not like he knew what to be looking for. And in the moment, it's all based on his memory. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not saying it couldn't have been, but it just seems really.
Here's a stranger.
I have my doubts.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest questions is how much of Mittank's paranoid behavior was rooted in reality.
Right.
So according to his mom, Lars had no history of mental illness, and there's also no history of mental illness in his family.
Okay.
Obviously, he could have had undiagnosed mental illness, whether there was family history or not. It starts somewhere. So, go ahead.
What if that medication triggered it? Like, I one time took.
Literally the next paragraph.
Oh, okay, good.
Go ahead. You go.
I one time I had really bad sun poisoning, actually. Mm-hmm. And I had to take some sort of medication, and this is the only time I've ever like sleepwalked. Like Ryan, I was with Sophie's dad at the time, like 2 days after this happened, we were going to Miami. And
your Amy?
Miami. And he said that he found me just standing in my pajamas with a blanket around me just on our deck, just staring off into the space.
Uh-huh.
And he put me back in bed.
That would creep me out. I've never encountered a sleepwalker.
Medical professional too, so he probably was like, "Oh God,
here she goes.
Here she goes. Here we go. This is going to be a thing." But I had to stop taking that medicine because I had a weird reaction to it.
Well, that's it. So the next paragraph is, and he had all those questions about it. So some people have speculated that Lars' behavior was caused by some strange side effect of that medication that he was taking, or an interaction between the medication and some other possibly recreational drug.
Right. And also they had been drinking too.
Right. So the thing is, most accounts say that he wasn't taking that medication and that, in fact, he hadn't even had it filled.
Oh.
Because he had all those questions about it.
Oh, yeah.
And the airport doctor is quoted as saying he didn't take those antibiotics. He didn't even fill his prescription. So his behavior couldn't have been a result of that. Now, a few of the articles I read said differently. Yeah. They said he had the prescription filled and was taking it. And it's possible the airport doctor was mistaken.
Right.
But, like, even if we say he was taking that medication, he told the story about the 4 people being hired to beat him up.
Right.
Before he ever even got prescribed that medication.
Right, exactly.
So we know he couldn't have been taking it then.
Yes.
So that would mean at least that story hadn't been some sort of delusion.
Okay.
And he clearly was beaten up. Like, he had injuries.
That's what I was going to say. So the concussion, maybe?
Maybe.
Or like his eardrum being messed up, like his equilibrium, and it just all like went to hell after that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's already weird. Like, even so, if we start there with just the night he came home or the morning he came home and he's like, these 4 men beat me up.
I'm a mess.
Why would some group of people who argued with him at a bar feel the need to
hire somebody?
Even more than that, why would, if they didn't hire anybody, why would they do it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They left the bar.
Yeah.
It was over.
Yeah.
It's not like they all left the bar together
because
it's
we're
hunt
to another bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't hunt. I mean, did they hunt him down?
So the 4 men who attacked Lars the night before his friends left have never been identified.
Okay.
So the only way we know this happened is because Lars told us it did.
He said so.
And I don't know how much we can believe what he says.
Right.
On the other hand, like I said, he had real injuries. So like someone beat him up.
Yeah.
And I also put that, speaking of injuries, let's not forget he had the concussion.
Right.
Which could have caused him to behave abnormally.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess like theory 1 is some sort of psychosis.
Right.
Either brought on by his medication or undiagnosed mental illness.
Right.
I've told you.
Bad drug that he got.
Right. True.
Yeah.
And I've told you my issues with the medication theory. So let's talk about the mental illness part.
Yeah.
So several people have mentioned schizophrenia in relation to Lars's case.
Okay.
So obviously I'm not a mental health professional.
Right.
I don't know if y'all know that.
College, but
right. I've just read a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But I did a little reading about this. So psychosis can come on suddenly.
Okay.
It can be triggered by several different things, including physical illness or injury, alcohol or smoking, lack of sleep, not getting enough food, and prescribed medication. Every single one of those
happened to him.
is in this story.
Right.
So that could be. Another trigger could be recreational drugs, but Lars' family states that he didn't do any drugs.
Okay, but they were in a party city, so...
And I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying let's leave open the possibility that they don't know, that maybe his son didn't tell them.
Well, and maybe he wasn't into them, but they were all at this thing, and he was like, yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're a person who maybe does recreational drugs a little every now and then and doesn't have a lot of... you don't spend a lot of money on it. It doesn't impact your life very much. Probably a whole lot of people wouldn't know.
Yeah.
When severe psychotic symptoms show up very suddenly, it's referred to as acute schizophrenia. It can happen anytime between a person's teens and early 30s, and he was 28.
Right.
It's very rarely outside of that range.
Oh.
Symptoms include delusions, disorganized or bizarre behavior, inability to take care of yourself, disorganized thinking, and auditory and visual hallucinations.
Well, there you go.
So that's possible.
Yeah.
We can't rule it out. Still, it only explains why he was suddenly acting so paranoid and erratic.
Right.
It doesn't explain how he disappeared and why his body's never been found.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you're like, okay, something went wrong in his brain.
We still don't know where he is.
Right. You can't like make yourself disappear.
Yeah.
So theory 2.
He's a magician.
He's David Copperfield. Lars ran away to start a new life. So I think this one is pretty easy to rule out.
Right.
Because, at the very beginning I told you, he had a good job.
Yeah.
He had a long-term girlfriend. He had a good relationship with his family. He was super close with his parents. I don't think he would leave his mom to do all the things on his own, on her own. He had good friends. And of course...
And he kept in touch with his mom.
Right. Like I know... a person can appear to be perfectly happy and you never know what's going on behind the scenes. BetterHelp/WMMM. But he was in touch with his mom. She's the first person he reached out to. And then he stayed in touch with her the whole time. So if he was planning to run away or disappear on purpose, why would he do that?
Exactly.
I don't buy that at all.
I don't either.
Theory 3. Someone or a group of people was actually pursuing Lars and killed him.
Maybe.
So this all goes back to we have no idea what's real and what isn't. Like,
what did he do for a living again? He worked for a water plant or something?
He worked at that company that we know a whole lot about.
Yes.
Wilhelmshaven.
A deep water port.
Mm-hmm. And its largest naval base.
So, I mean... No, I don't. There's nothing there. I don't like what.
It's like military. Could there be some sort of military connection? It all goes back to we have no idea what's real and what isn't. If people really did beat him up a couple nights earlier, I'm curious why they'd let him live in the first place.
Yeah.
If they were only going to track him down again later and kill him.
Right.
Like, you think if these people wanted him dead, they just would have killed him when they beat him up the first time.
Exactly.
On the other hand,
unless they were like, leave and don't come back, and then he's back. He's dead.
Yeah, or maybe they left him and thought he was dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and they thought he knew who they were or something.
I don't know.
But why?
But
would
over
they, like,
football, like, are you going to kill a guy?
And why
over
would
football?
they track him all the way to the airport and just sit outside and wait for him?
And know that he would take off running and go into the woods.
Yeah. And was that a fake construction worker sent in there to like chit chat with him?
Yeah, none of that makes sense.
That's way too much.
On the other hand, it would explain why no body's ever been found.
Right.
Because someone did something with it.
Yeah.
Theory 4. Lars was trafficked.
Oh.
Trafficking stuff
terrifies me.
It terrifies me. And it's way more common than you think. Yeah. And you may think you live in an area where it doesn't happen at all. And you're probably wrong.
Yeah. So very wrong.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Bulgaria has one of the highest rates of human trafficking in the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
Locals and tourists have been taken and forced into sex work, drug smuggling, and slavery. And they've also been killed for their organs.
Yep.
So if we believe 4 men beat him up, then one reason they may have continued to pursue him is because they belonged to a human trafficking ring,
right,
and wanted to traffic him.
Yeah.
Theory 5, Lars died by suicide.
Mm.
I think this is just a theory because no one's sure what was going on with his mental health.
Yeah.
With his mental health. It's hard to say. I mean, without knowing, it's hard to say that he may have died by suicide, but still, that still comes back to, then where's his body?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. And like, what did he use to do so?
Right. He left with
nothing with him.
Right. So here's the last theory, I think. It's weird. It's a weird kind of convoluted theory, but it's interesting. That's why I'm putting it in here.
Okay.
So Lars and his friends were working as drug mules, maybe even involuntarily.
Oh.
Okay. So I put, this one's kind of wild, but also interesting.
Yeah.
So the theory goes that Lars' friends were working as drug mules.
Okay.
Police didn't find any drugs in Lars' belongings, so they don't think he was involved.
Okay.
But it's been theorized that his friends flew back without him to take drugs to Germany, and Lars had to stay behind in Bulgaria as some sort of insurance.
Oh.
Maybe the reason he got so freaked out at the airport is because he thought his friends had gotten caught and he was about to be arrested.
Oh.
So he took off. I didn't really think anything weird about Lars' friend's behavior when I initially read the story.
Right.
You picked up on something that I just didn't think, how they left.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, guy friends are different.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if they would just be like, all right, he says he's fine.
We'll bye.
But you noticed right away where you were like, you're leaving him even though he just got beat up. But I didn't even think anything of it. I do think it's odd that the night of the flight, Lars had said he was going back to the hotel.
Right.
And when his friends didn't find him there, it doesn't seem like they contacted the police or anything.
Yeah.
Why weren't they more worried when he was gone all night long and they didn't know where he was? Also, did he have his cell phone then? We know he had one.
Yeah. Did you all check his? I mean, I'm sure you checked his cell phone.
Did you even try to call him?
Did they stay in contact with him?
Right. Like when you all go back to the hotel and he wasn't there, did you try to call him?
Or maybe the fact that he didn't hear from them is what spooked him.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, I just mean like the night that he didn't come home.
Yeah.
Did they even try to figure out where he was?
Right.
Or did they just sit there at the hotel and be like, I don't know, he'll come back maybe?
Right.
The other thing is the whole deal where the doctor said he couldn't fly because of his ruptured eardrum.
Mm-hmm.
Do a Google search. That's not true, which is another thing that didn't occur to me until I started looking. And I was like, wait, how long would he not have been able to fly? When I Googled it, it's like, oh, he could have flown. That's not true. Why would a doctor tell him he couldn't? So according to the United Kingdom National Health Service, yes, it is safe to fly with a perforated eardrum.
Oh.
Now, if you've had surgery to repair a perforated eardrum, you shouldn't fly until your doctor or surgeon says it's safe to do so. But he hadn't had that surgery.
Yeah, because the pressure would mess it all up.
And it's not like only one site said that. I scrolled through a whole bunch of search results and they're all like, sure, you can fly. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it's unlikely to cause any serious
just give me
harm.
Tylenol.
Yeah, it's no reason to be like, you can't go home today. You need to change your flight.
Yeah.
So was this doctor just overly cautious?
Right. So is that in the medical record that the doctor gave him saying don't fly?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, is there a lie here? And if there is, who lied? Was it the doctor?
Right.
Or Lars? Or his friends?
Yeah.
Because when he did go to the airport doctor, that airport doctor said, yes, you're okay to fly. That was also just the next day, which maybe that's
so are
expected,
the friends the ones that we heard from that said, like, he didn't tell his mom he couldn't fly. His friends told people that he couldn't fly because of his busted eardrum.
Well, he talked to his mom, and he did go to the doctor himself. So he would have had to have heard that from the doctor.
Okay.
Or that is the story that he told his mom.
Right. Yeah.
If the drug trafficking thing was going on, he's not going to tell his mom the drug trafficking part, but he has to come up with the reason why he couldn't.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
No.
But like maybe Lars and his friends encountered some dangerous people on their trip.
Right.
Maybe Lars tried drugs for the first time, leading to his strange behavior or maybe even triggering psychosis. Yeah. Maybe since they were German, the drug dealers forced them to take drugs back to Germany. Maybe Lars had to stay behind his insurance. Maybe he got more and more scared the longer his friends were gone.
Yeah.
But still, where's his body?
Right. Where is he at? Is he some like crazy drug lord now?
No, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Lars has been described as the most famous missing person on YouTube.
Really?
By May of 2018, less than 4 years after his disappearance, the security footage of him in the airport had been viewed more than 16 million times.
Oh my gosh.
At the time he went missing, he was 5'11" tall. That's 180 centimeters, Rachel. Mm-hmm. And he had dark blonde. He had dark blonde hair.
Yeah. Is that blonde brown now? Mm. Blonde.
It could be dark blonde or light brown.
Yeah. I love it. Mm-hmm.
And he has a scar on his left forearm.
Okay.
Every year, around 10,000 people go missing in Germany.
Jesus.
50% of all missing person cases are resolved within less than a week. Mm. And less than 3% are actually found within a year. Mm. Lars Mittank has been missing for more than 8 years.
Oh my gosh.
And that is the story.
That? Wow.
Yeah.
Where'd you go, Lars?
I mean, it's really, if you look him up, of course, it's the case with every person that goes missing. You just see these pictures of this like normal kid. I mean, he's 28, but he's like normal and he's just having a good time. He's a good looking guy. He's obviously just having a great time with his friends.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
How? Where? When? Why?
Yeah.
Huh? What's going on?
Yeah. That's all.
Wow, guys.
Do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
To talk about?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Oh, we have mentioned a few times that we're working on the fall merch now.
Yes.
And I believe the plan is to start selling fall merch in the first week of September.
Yeah.
So some of the summer designs that we've got right now are going to be phased out. And they may come back at some point.
Right.
But if there's anything that you want right now,
jump on it.
Jump on it.
Tonto.
If you are a Patreon member, you get a discount. Don't forget that. So you can find that in your Patreon posts.
For your code.
Just scroll back. If you join it, you should be able to, whenever you join, scroll back through all the old posts. So it's updated every month, but you'll find the most recent one. Yeah. That's the one you can use. So there's a discount level at the Body of a Goddess Patreon level and at the Janet's one. There's two different ones. Okay. That's all.
That's it.
We love you
so much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.